Stop scrolling for a second and imagine this. Somewhere in this world, there is a woman who has never met you, never spoken to you, never heard your voice, and yet one day she may become the most important person in your life. Right now, she is living her own story. She is fighting battles you know nothing about. She is learning lessons you cannot see. She is becoming the person she needs to become, and at the very same time, whether you realize it or not, life is asking you a question. Are you becoming the man she deserves? That question changes everything. Because most people spend their lives waiting for something extraordinary to happen. They wait for success. They wait for opportunity. They wait for love. They wait for the perfect moment. But the truth is that the future does not reward those who wait. The future rewards those who prepare. Think about that. The person you dream about meeting one day is not waiting for a finished version of you. She is waiting for the version of you that is willing to grow, the version that refuses to stay average, the version that wakes up and decides that every day matters. Too many people look at relationships as destinations. They think happiness starts when they meet someone special. They think confidence arrives when they finally feel loved. They think purpose appears when another person enters their life. But purpose does not begin with another person. Purpose begins when you decide to become someone worth building a future with. Your future wife is not your rescue mission. She is not the solution to your lack of discipline. She is not the cure for your lack of ambition. She is not the answer to your fear. She is not responsible for creating your identity. You are. The reality is that every great relationship is built by two people who spent years becoming stronger before they ever met. Right now, while you are worrying about whether love will find you, maybe the better question is whether you are becoming the kind of person who can handle the responsibility of real love. Because real love is not a movie scene. It is not a perfect photograph. It is not endless excitement. It is commitment. It is sacrifice. It is patience. It is growth. It is choosing someone every day, especially when life becomes difficult. And if you cannot commit to your goals, your habits, your promises, and your own future, how will you commit to another human being? That is why your mission right now is not to chase love. Your mission is to build yourself, build your character, build your mindset, build your discipline, build your vision, build your future. Every single day you spend improving yourself is a gift to the person you will meet someday. Every workout, every book, every skill, every difficult conversation, every moment you choose growth instead of comfort, it all matters. People underestimate the power of preparation. The world celebrates results, but results are only visible preparation. Nobody sees the years behind the success. Nobody sees the sacrifices. Nobody sees the lonely mornings. Nobody sees the failures. Nobody sees the uncertainty, but those hidden moments create everything. The same principle applies to relationships. One day people may look at your marriage and say, "You are lucky." They will not see the years you spent becoming a better person. They will not see the habits you developed. They will not see the mindset you built. They will not see the emotional maturity you earned. But that preparation is what makes the future possible. Here is something powerful to remember. The woman who becomes your wife is not looking for perfection. She is looking for direction. Nobody is perfect. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody arrives fully figured out. But direction matters. If you are moving forward, you are growing. If you are learning, you are evolving. If you are improving, you are creating possibilities. The future belongs to people who are willing to evolve. Look around. Technology evolves. Industries evolve. Civilizations evolve. The people who thrive are the people who adapt. The same thing is true in your personal life. You cannot become the person you want to be while remaining who you are today. Growth requires change. Change requires courage, and courage requires action. Maybe right now you feel behind. Maybe you feel like everyone else is moving faster. Maybe you feel like love, success, and happiness are happening for other people, but not for you. Do not let temporary circumstances convince you that your future is limited. The future is not created by where you are. The future is created by what you do next. That is why every morning matters. Every decision matters. Every hour matters. You are writing a story whether you realize it or not. The question is whether you are writing it intentionally. Imagine meeting the woman you will marry 10 years from now. Imagine sitting across from her. Imagine telling her the story of who you became before you met. What would you want that story to sound like? Would you tell her about the years you wasted making excuses? Would you tell her about the opportunities you ignored because they were difficult? Would you tell her about the dreams you abandoned because they seemed impossible? Or would you tell her about the season when everything changed? The season when you stopped waiting. The season when you became relentless. The season when you decided that your future deserved your full effort. Because that season can begin today. Not next year, not next month, not when conditions are perfect. Today. There is something extraordinary about taking responsibility for your future. The moment you stop blaming circumstances, you gain power. The moment you stop blaming the past, you gain freedom. The moment you stop waiting for permission, you gain momentum. Most people never experience that transformation because they remain trapped in excuses. Excuses feel safe, excuses protect the ego, excuses remove responsibility. But excuses also destroy potential. Potential is one of the most valuable things a human being possesses. Potential is possibility. Potential is unrealized greatness. Potential is the future trying to emerge through your actions. Do not waste it. Your future wife deserves more than your potential. She deserves your effort. The world does not change because of what you could do. The world changes because of what you actually do. So act, learn, build, create, fail, try again. Keep moving. Momentum is powerful. People often imagine transformation as a single dramatic moment, but transformation is usually invisible. It happens one decision at a time, one habit at a time, one improvement at a time, one challenge at a time. Eventually, those small actions create a completely different person, and that person creates a completely different future. Think about the version of yourself 5 years from now. That person is not created by luck. That person is created by repetition. The things you repeatedly do become the things you eventually become. If you repeatedly choose discipline, you become disciplined. If you repeatedly choose courage, you become courageous. If you repeatedly choose growth, you become someone capable of extraordinary things. The future is not an accident. The future is engineered. Most people engineer machines. Few people engineer themselves. Become one of those people. Treat your life like a mission. Treat your goals like responsibilities. Treat your time like a valuable resource. Because it is. Every day that passes is gone forever. You cannot buy it back. You cannot recover it. You cannot negotiate with it. Time moves forward whether you are ready or not. That is why urgency matters. Not panic, not stress, urgency. The understanding that life is valuable. The understanding that your future deserves attention. The understanding that becoming your best self cannot wait forever. Somewhere ahead of you, there is a life you have not experienced yet. A stronger version of yourself. A healthier version, a wiser version, a more confident version, a version capable of leading a family, protecting a vision, and building something meaningful. Move toward that person. Every day, no matter how slowly progress is progress, the greatest mistake people make is believing they need perfect conditions before they begin. Perfect conditions do not exist. There will always be uncertainty. There will always be obstacles. There will always be reasons to quit. But the people who create remarkable lives are the people who keep moving anyway. Imagine if every setback became fuel. Imagine if every rejection became motivation. Imagine if every disappointment strengthened your resolve. What could stop you? Very little. The truth is that resilience is one of the most attractive qualities a person can develop. Not because it looks impressive, because it creates stability. And stability creates trust. Trust creates connection. Connection creates lasting relationships. Strength is not about pretending nothing hurts. Strength is about continuing despite the pain. Strength is about carrying responsibility. Strength is about refusing to surrender your future. Your future wife does not need a perfect man. She needs a man who keeps going, a man who learns, a man who grows, a man who stands back up, a man who takes responsibility, a man who has a mission larger than his comfort. That kind of man becomes rare, and rare things become valuable. Do not spend your life trying to impress people. Spend your life becoming impressive through action. There is a difference. One seeks approval, the other creates value. Value lasts, approval disappears. Focus on building value. Become knowledgeable, become disciplined, become dependable. Become courageous, become someone whose actions match his words. Integrity matters, promises matter. Consistency matters, the small things matter. People often think greatness is found in dramatic achievements. Sometimes greatness is simply doing what you said you would do, day after day, year after year. Without applause, without recognition, without immediate rewards. That kind of consistency changes lives. One day, you may hold the hand of the woman you love and realize that every difficult season had a purpose. Every challenge taught you something. Every setback prepared you for something. Every struggle strengthened something inside you. Life has a way of connecting dots that are invisible in the present. Trust the process, not blindly, actively. Keep working, keep learning, keep becoming. Do not allow loneliness to convince you that your story is over. Some of the most important chapters happen before people arrive. Some of the most valuable growth happens in solitude. Use this season wisely. Build yourself, develop your mind, expand your vision. Kate opportunities. Pursue excellence. When the right person enters your life, do not let her meet your excuses. Let her meet your growth. Let her meet your discipline. Let her meet your purpose. Let her meet the person you fought to become. And remember this: the future is bigger than your fears, bigger than your doubts, bigger than your current limitations. Human beings consistently underestimate what they can accomplish over long periods of time. A single day may not change your life. 1,000 disciplined days absolutely can. That is how extraordinary things happen, not instantly, gradually. Then suddenly, one day you realize you are no longer the same person. Your mindset changed, your standards changed, your habits changed, your confidence changed, your future changed. And all of it started with a decision to stop waiting, a decision to take ownership, a decision to become intentional. The world rewards people who solve problems. Start by solving your own. Become stronger where you are weak. Become disciplined where you are inconsistent. Become focused where you are distracted. Become courageous where you are afraid. Every improvement compounds. Small advantages become large advantages. Small disciplines become massive transformations. Small actions create extraordinary outcomes. This is true in business. This is true in innovation. This is true in relationships. This is true in life. Never underestimate the power of compounding effort. The person you become through years of intentional growth is almost unrecognizable from the person who refused to grow. That transformation is available to anyone willing to commit, including you, especially you. Do not worry about whether the future will work out. Focus on becoming the person capable of handling whatever future arrives. That mindset changes everything. Because confidence does not come from certainty, confidence comes from preparation. When you prepare, fear loses power. When you prepare, doubt loses influence. When you prepare, opportunity becomes visible. Preparation creates possibilities. And possibilities create momentum. The future is not waiting for perfection. It is waiting for action. There are dreams inside you that deserve effort. There are goals inside you that deserve commitment. There is potential inside you that deserves expression. Do not bury it. Do not postpone it. Do not underestimate it. Use it. Every morning is an invitation. Every challenge is an opportunity. Every setback is a lesson. Every day is another chance to move closer to the life you want. One day, years from now, you may look back at this season and realize it was never about waiting for your future wife at all. It was about becoming the person capable of loving deeply, leading wisely, serving faithfully, and building a future worth sharing. It was about discovering your strength. It was about developing your character. It was about learning responsibility. It was about building vision. It was about refusing mediocrity. It was about creating a life driven by purpose instead of convenience. And when that day comes, when your paths finally cross, when conversations become memories, and memories become a shared future, you will understand something profound. You were never simply moving toward another person. You were moving toward the highest version of yourself. Every challenge pushed you there. Every lesson guided you there. Every act of discipline carried you there. Every moment of persistence shaped you there. The future you dream about is not built in one dramatic moment. It is built today. It is built tomorrow. It is built every time you choose growth over comfort. Every time you choose action over excuses. Every time you choose responsibility over blame. Every time you choose purpose over distraction. So keep going. Keep building. Keep learning. Keep improving. Keep believing that your best days are not behind you. Keep believing that your future is worth fighting for. Keep believing that the person you are becoming matters. Because somewhere beyond the horizon of your current circumstances exists a life that is larger than your fears, greater than your doubts, and more extraordinary than your imagination currently allows. And the bridge between where you are and where you want to be is built one disciplined choice, one courageous action, one focused day, and one relentless commitment to growth at a time, while the future quietly watches, waiting to see whether you will rise to meet it, whether you will become the person capable of carrying greater responsibility, creating greater impact, building deeper relationships, and stepping fully into the possibilities that have been waiting for you all along. Because the greatest love story you will ever experience begins long before you meet the right person. It begins the moment you decide to become the right person for the future you claim to want, the future you dream about, the future you are capable of creating, and the future that is already being shaped by the decisions you make right now, in this very moment, while nobody is watching, while nobody is applauding, while nobody is guaranteeing success, and yet you continue forward anyway. Because deep inside you know that greatness is never found in waiting, it is found in becoming. And becoming is one of the most misunderstood ideas in the world. People think becoming is about adding something to yourself. More money, more status, more recognition, more achievements, more validation. But often, becoming is about removing the things that were holding you back in the first place, removing self-doubt, removing excuses, removing limiting beliefs, removing the habit of quitting when things become difficult, removing the need for constant approval. Because the moment you stop looking outside yourself for permission to move forward, you begin operating at a completely different level. Think about how many dreams never become reality, simply because someone waited too long to believe in themselves. Not because they lacked intelligence, not because they lacked opportunity, not because they lacked potential. They simply underestimated what was already inside them. And that is one of the greatest tragedies imaginable. A powerful future trapped inside a fearful mind, a remarkable life trapped behind hesitation, an extraordinary possibility buried under ordinary thinking. Do not allow that to happen to you. The world already has enough people playing small. The world already has enough people settling for less than they are capable of becoming. The world already has enough people convincing themselves that average is acceptable. You were not designed for average. You were designed to create, to build, to solve, to improve, to contribute, to leave things better than you found them. And when you understand that, something shifts. Your focus changes from what you can get to what you can give. Your attention moves from chasing admiration to creating value. Your energy moves from complaining about circumstances to improving them. That shift changes everything, because the strongest people are not obsessed with what life owes them. They are obsessed with what they can build despite the obstacles. Look at every breakthrough in human history, every invention, every company, every innovation, every advancement. They all began with someone refusing to accept limitations as permanent. Someone looked at a problem and decided that a solution was possible. Someone looked at difficulty and saw opportunity. Someone looked at uncertainty and moved forward anyway. That mindset is available to you, not someday, today, right now. You do not need permission to think bigger. You do not need permission to raise your standards. You do not need permission to pursue a better future. You simply need the courage to begin, and courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is movement despite fear. Fear will always exist. The question is whether fear will drive your decisions or whether your vision will, because vision is powerful. Vision pulls you forward. Vision keeps you moving when motivation disappears. Vision helps you endure temporary discomfort for long-term results. Without vision, every obstacle feels overwhelming. With vision, obstacles become part of the process. The future wife you imagine sharing your life with deserves a man who has vision, not because he has every answer, but because he knows where he is going. Direction creates confidence. Directed creates momentum. Directed creates stability. And stability becomes the foundation upon which extraordinary relationships are built. Imagine the difference between two men. One spends every day reacting to life. The other spends every day designing his future. One drifts wherever circumstances push him. The other moves intentionally toward meaningful goals. One hopes things improve. The other works to improve them. Years later, those two lives look completely different. Not because of luck, because of decisions. Your future is hidden inside your daily decisions. That is why habits matter so much. People underestimate habits because they seem insignificant. A single workout seems small. A single book chapter seems small. A single disciplined morning seems small. A single act of courage seems small. But life is not built from single moments. Life is built from accumulated moments. What you repeatedly do becomes your identity, and identity shapes destiny. The most powerful transformation happens when your actions and your identity begin aligning. When discipline is no longer something you force, it becomes part of who you are. When growth is no longer something you occasionally pursue, it becomes part of who you are. When excellence is no longer an event, it becomes a standard. At that point, progress accelerates, because you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking whether you feel like doing the work. You simply do it. Not because it is easy, but because it is necessary. There is tremendous freedom in that. Most people spend enormous amounts of energy debating whether they should take action. Successful people spend that energy taking action. The difference compounds over time. A year passes, 5 years pass, 10 years pass, and suddenly the gap becomes enormous. The future rewards consistency more than intensity. Anyone can be motivated for a day. Few people can remain committed for years. Commitment is where transformation lives. Commitment is where confidence is built. Commitment is where character is forged. Every challenge you overcome becomes evidence. Evidence that you are capable. Evidence that you can adapt. Evidence that you can survive difficulty. evidence that you can grow stronger. That evidence matters, because one day life will test you, not with small problems, with real responsibility, real pressure, real uncertainty, real sacrifice, and when that moment arrives, you will not rise to the level of your wishes. You will rise to the level of your preparation. Preparation is invisible until it becomes essential. That is why the work you do today matters so much, even when nobody notices, even when progress feels slow, even when results seem far away. The seeds you plant now are creating a future you cannot yet see. Trust that process, not because success is guaranteed, but because growth is guaranteed when effort is applied consistently. Every day you become a little stronger, a little wiser, a little more capable, a little more prepared, and eventually those small improvements create extraordinary outcomes. There is another truth most people never realize. The quality of your future relationships is directly connected to the quality of your relationship with yourself. If you cannot trust yourself, everything becomes difficult. If you constantly break promises to yourself, confidence erodes. If you repeatedly abandon your goals, belief weakens. But every time you keep a promise to yourself, trust grows. Every time you follow through, confidence strengthens. Every time you honor your commitments, your self-respect increases. Self-respect changes the way you walk into a room. It changes the way you speak. It changes the way you make decisions. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you pursue. And perhaps most importantly, it changes what you believe is possible. Never underestimate the power of believing something is possible. Entire industries have been built because someone believed something impossible could be achieved. Entire futures have been transformed because someone refused to accept existing limitations. Your life can change faster than you think once your beliefs and actions begin working together. But belief alone is not enough. Action matters. Dreams without action remain dreams. Ideas without execution remain ideas. Potential without effort remains unrealized. The world responds to action. Reality responds to action. Progress responds to action. So move. Take the first step. Take the next step. Then take another. Do not obsess over the entire journey. Focus on the next meaningful action. Momentum grows from movement, not from overthinking, not from worrying, not from endlessly preparing. Movement creates clarity. Movement creates confidence. Movement creates opportunity. One of the greatest advantages you can develop is the ability to continue moving while others hesitate. While others wait for certainty, act. While others make excuses, improve. While others complain, build. While others quit, continue. That difference may seem small in the beginning. Eventually it becomes impossible to ignore. Because persistence has a way of separating those who dream from those who achieve. Deltapinsent is powerful, not glamorous, not exciting, not dramatic. Powerful Deltapinsent wins because most people stop. They stop after rejection. They stop after failure. They stop after disappointment. They stop after criticism. But the people who continue eventually find opportunities that quitters never reach. Do not let temporary setbacks convince you to abandon permanent goals. Some of the most important breakthroughs happen right after the moment most people would have walked away. Keep going. The future often rewards one more attempt, one more effort, one more day of discipline, one more act of courage, one more decision to refuse surrender, and one day, seemingly out of nowhere, the results begin appearing. The confidence you worked for becomes visible. The opportunities you prepared for begin arriving. The life you imagined begins taking shape. People call it luck. You will know better. You will know it was built through patience, built through consistency, built through resilience, built through thousands of choices nobody else ever saw. And when you finally look back at the road behind you, you will realize that every challenge carried a hidden gift. Every obstacle developed strength. Every delay developed patience. Every hardship developed wisdom. Every uncertainty developed faith in your ability to adapt. Nothing was wasted. The difficult seasons were not interruptions to your journey. They were part of the construction process. They were preparing you for responsibilities you could not yet see. They were teaching lessons success alone could never teach. Because growth rarely happens during comfort. Growth happens when you are stretched, when you are challenged, when you are forced to evolve. And evolution is exactly what your future requires. The next version of your life requires the next version of you. Not the fearful version, not the distracted version, not the version that constantly settles, the stronger version, the wiser version, the disciplined version, the version willing to embrace responsibility and carry it with pride. That person already exists as a possibility within you. Every day gives you another opportunity to bring that possibility closer to reality. Every sunrise is another chance to move forward. Every challenge is another chance to grow. Every decision is another chance to shape the story you will, one day, tell. And when that future finally arrives, when all the years of effort, growth, sacrifice, and persistence begin connecting into a picture that finally makes sense, you will understand that the greatest investment you ever made was never in a business, a career, an opportunity, or even a dream. It was in the decision to become the strongest, wisest, most capable version of yourself, because that decision quietly transformed every area of your life, expanded every possibility, elevated every relationship, and created a foundation strong enough to support the future you once thought existed only in your imagination. And maybe that is the realization you needed all along. Maybe the greatest challenge was never finding the right person. Maybe the greatest challenge was becoming the person you were capable of becoming. Because life has a way of revealing what truly matters. At the end of the day, people do not remember the excuses they made. They remember the risks they took. They remember the battles they fought. They remember the moments they chose courage over comfort. They remember the days they stood up when everything inside them wanted to stay down. That is where real transformation happens, not when conditions are perfect, not when every answer is available, not when fear disappears, but in those quiet moments when you decide to move forward anyway. Right now, there is a version of you waiting on the other side of discipline, a version of you waiting on the other side of consistency, a version of you waiting on the other side of every difficult choice you have been avoiding. That person is stronger, that person is wiser, that person is more focused, that person is more capable than you can currently imagine. And every single day you either move closer to that person or further away from them. The choice has always been yours. Think about how powerful that is. You are not trapped by your past. You are not defined by your mistakes. You are not limited by your current circumstances. The story is still being written. The next chapter is still blank. The future has not been decided, and that means possibility is still alive. No matter how many setbacks you have faced, no matter how many times you have failed, no matter how far behind you think you are, possibility is still alive. As long as you are breathing, possibility exists. As long as you are willing to learn, possibility exists. As long as you refuse to quit, possibility exists. Never forget that. There will be days when progress feels invisible, days when effort feels unrewarded, days when doubt becomes loud, days when the road ahead feels uncertain. Keep going, because some of the most important victories happen long before they become visible. The roots grow before the tree appears. The foundation is built before the structure rises. The preparation happens before the opportunity arrives. Trust your preparation. Trust your growth. Trust the person you are becoming. One day you will look back and realize that the moments you wanted to give up were often the moments closest to your breakthrough. You will realize that the struggle was shaping you, the pressure was strengthening you, the challenges were teaching you, the delays were preparing you, and suddenly, everything that once felt heavy will begin to make sense. You will see how every lesson connected, how every sacrifice mattered, how every difficult step moved you closer to the life you were meant to create. But none of that happens if you stop now. None of that happens if you surrender to fear. None of that happens if you settle for less than what you know is possible. This is your reminder to keep building, keep learning, keep growing, keep showing up, keep believing in the future you cannot yet see, because extraordinary lives are not created by extraordinary luck. They are created by ordinary people making extraordinary commitments, again and again, day after day, year after year, until the impossible becomes reality. And when the world sees the results, they will see the success, they will see the confidence, they will see the achievement. But only you will know the truth. Only you will remember the mornings nobody saw, the nights nobody applauded, the sacrifices nobody understood, the decisions nobody celebrated. You will know that every step mattered. You will know that every moment of persistence was worth it. You will know that the person standing there is not a product of chance. That person is a product of choice, your choices, your effort, your resilience, your refusal to quit. So from this moment forward, stop asking whether you are ready. Stop waiting for certainty. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. The perfect moment is a myth. The only moment that exists is now. Now is where dreams become plans. Now is where plans become action. Now is where action becomes momentum. Now is where momentum becomes destiny. Take ownership of your life. Take ownership of your future. Take ownership of the person you are becoming. Walk forward with confidence, even when you cannot see the entire path. Trust your ability to adapt. Trust your ability to grow. Trust your ability to rise, because there is something incredibly powerful about a person who refuses to give up on themselves. A person who keeps moving, keeps learning, keeps building, keeps believing, even when the outcome is uncertain, that kind of person becomes unstoppable. And deep down, you already know this. You can feel it. You can feel that there is more inside you. More strength, more courage, more potential, more purpose, more life waiting to be lived. Do not leave this world carrying untapped greatness. Do not reach the end of your journey wondering what might have happened if you had believed in yourself a little longer, worked a little harder, stayed a little stronger, and trusted your vision a little more. Give everything you have to the life in front of you. Show up fully, love deeply, build fearlessly, dream boldly, work relentlessly. And when you finally meet the person you were always becoming, when you look in the mirror and see someone who earned their confidence, honored their commitments, conquered their excuses, and refused to let circumstances dictate their future, you will experience a feeling that no amount of money, recognition, or success can ever replace. The quiet certainty that you became who you were meant to be, that you answered the call of your potential, that you gave your gifts to the world instead of hiding them from it, and that no matter what challenges still lie ahead, you are ready, because the strongest thing you ever built was not a career, not a reputation, not a dream, but the unshakable person staring back at you, the person who never stopped believing that a greater future was possible and never stopped moving toward it.